Hey, my friends, if you are looking for a faster, a better way to grow and scale your online business, you very likely do not need another course or to be reading more books about how to grow your business. What you need instead is a personalized, cohesive growth strategy for your business, along with one-on-one coaching and group coaching, support and accountability to help you every step of the way. Well, that's exactly what my Accelerator coaching program delivers for you. Accelerator is an intimate 12-month rolling open enrollment. So it's ongoing open enrollment, personalized coaching program, and mastermind experience for established online course creators and coaches who want to take the guesswork out of optimizing and grow towards a profitable 7-figure plus business without more anxiety, without more stress, and hours spent in front of the computer. Okay. Accelerator is about thinking differently and bigger about your business, about your team, your funnels, your ads, your vision, et cetera, so that you can create more profit, more impact with less hustle. So Accelerator is application only. And again, this is rolling, ongoing, open enrollment. So if you want to learn more and apply, just go to rickmulready.com/accelerator. Hey, my friend, welcome to the Art of Online Business podcast. My name is Rick Mulready, and I'm an online business coach. I'm an ads expert, and most importantly, I'm a dad. And this show is where we help established online course creators and coaches create more profit, more impact with less hustle. All right, let's get into it. Hey, what's up, my friends? Rick here. And today we are talking about one of my favorite recent topics. I say recent over the past year or so, and that is growing a YouTube channel. Because so many of us, right, especially in the past year and a half, have been looking for an additional traffic channel, especially organic, right, with how messy ads have been for the past year and a half. And YouTube is something that I think, and I'm going to be talking a lot more about YouTube here in the podcast, but in addition to podcasting, I think that everybody should be doing a YouTube channel as long as, right, of course, your audience watches videos on YouTube, which is a whole lot of people, right? And so I invited my good buddy, Pat Flynn from Smart Passive Income to join me here to share the number one secret to YouTube success in growing a successful YouTube channel. A lot of you might not know, but Pat has, in addition to his Pat Flynn YouTube channel, where he has like 344,000 subscribers, where he talks about online business and so forth, Pat has created a Pokemon YouTube channel. It's called Deep Pocket Monster. He launched it in early 2021, and in 12 short months, he had 100,000 subscribers on this channel. And at the time we recorded this interview, he has 137,000 subscribers. And in the past 30 days, he's done about $8,000 in ad revenue from this channel, which is just over a year old. And so Pat's going to break it all down for you. He's going to be sharing with you exactly what it takes to have a successful YouTube channel, how to grow it quickly, and really unpacking the number one thing that you need to be thinking about in order to have success on YouTube. So without further ado, let's dive into it with Pat Flynn. So Pat, I'm a little bit worried about this conversation, that it's going to be super awkward.
Saying the same thing.
That we're not going to have any chemistry or anything like that.
No chemistry.
What do you think?
We don't hang out every Friday and have coffee together. We aren't friends. Our families don't know each other. We're just complete strangers. So this is gonna be terrible. We
don't live a mile down the road from each other in the same neighborhood.
Oh, dude, I'm so stoked to be on your show.
You don't pass by my house every morning.
I do on the way to school. Yes.
Yeah.
And I look and I'm like, that guy, he just lives right there.
Can't believe I'm going to be on his podcast.
We're on the same street again.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming back, man.
Of course. Yes.
We're going to be talking about something
different
that we've never talked about here on the show. Well, with you haven't talked about here on the show. And that is YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I have been talking about a lot for my channel, and you've been giving me just amazing tips and insights and stuff like that. You have, and what I want to talk about specifically is your new, it's not even new because it's what, 14 months old now?
I mean, that's
your
fairly
Pokemon
new,
channel.
but it's been around for over a year. Yeah.
So first of all, what's the Pokemon channel name?
Deep Pocket Monster, which it's really funny. There's like two meanings to that, right? It's like deep pockets because in the Pokemon world. So first of all, people are probably like, wait, did he say Pokemon? Like,
well, yeah, that's my, like, why Pokemon? Because you're best known for Smart Passive Income, SPI.
yeah, it's just so interesting. During the pandemic, had a lot of time to myself, like many other people did. And my kids got into Pokemon a little bit. They started collecting some of the cards and the figurines and whatnot. And then I started to get involved with that and get interested in it too. And then I, of course, always go deep with a lot of my work with anything, right? If I'm going to learn how to run a marathon, well, hey, I'm going to learn from somebody who's done it. And then I end up running a triathlon. Or in this case, I learn about Pokemon cards, and not just because it's a fun little show and a Game Boy game from back in the day that became this major hit. And by the way, Pokemon is the #1 media franchise in the world, which is crazy. There's a whole nother side. There's multiple sides to it. There are people who invest in these cards and they make money by buying and selling these things. There are people who collect what's called trophy cards, these really old cards that they're very rare and they're worth millions of dollars. And then there's a side of Pokemon where people open packs and they try to collect the entire set, but they do this while on camera, while live on YouTube. And so I got really interested in all the different facets of what was going on in this world, and I think that's really important to do. I first of all, I wasn't approaching this as like I'm gonna turn this into a business and make money from it. It was just I was enjoying the hobby, and I just started noticing all these different parts of it. Right, there's like a bucket over here and a bucket over there, and I also started noticing that there were a lot of holes, and there were a lot of things that me as an entrepreneur, like many of us, once you learn this language of business and entrepreneurship, you see things that like normal people don't. And
Sure.
I started to notice that there were a lot of opportunities and there were a lot of people falling short on things. There were creators, many creators who've been doing this for, over a decade now, who just, I could understand that they didn't quite get YouTube in the way that I got YouTube based on my entrepreneurial channel with Pat Flynn on YouTube. And I just started noticing that wow, somebody has to come in here and start doing something that's different. And I saw that opportunity, and I did make a decision one day because there was a fork in the road. Do I just like continue to enjoy this hobby on the side and not really worry about it and just kind of have fun? Or do I become a creator in this space and actually see if I can make a dent here? And by make a dent, meaning can I build an audience? Can I help people? Can I impact this community in some way? And so I obviously chose the latter route, and I started the channel in the beginning of 2021. There was this huge surge at the end of 2020 in the collectibles space. A lot of people thought it was going to go away because of the pandemic, but it actually went the opposite way because a lot of people were looking for nostalgia and looking for things to do, and also had some money to spend on that kind of stuff. And a lot of stimulus checks went to collectibles and things like that. So there was this huge boom, and I came along with it. But unlike most people, I created a channel to go with it, and I started that in the beginning of 2021 in January. We are recording this as of March of 2022. The channel just passed 137,000 subscribers. We had our #1 most profitable month last year as far as ad revenue. So in the last 28 days, it has earned $8,785 in ad revenue from YouTube. In addition to that, we are about to cross 1,000 paying members on YouTube. On YouTube, you can, similar to Patreon, you can sort of support the creators there. And I have about 1,000 people paying $2.99 a month. What do they get access to? They get access to special emojis that they can use on live streams. They get access to a special Discord that I created for this community. They also get access to member-only streams or, special giveaways and things like that. And about 1,000 people. When I think about 1,000 people, I'm like, wow, Kevin Kelly's 1,000 true fans. Here I am in a brand new space that I knew nothing about. Now with 1,000 people paying me monthly, and it's just kind of insane. And on top of that, because the brand is growing so big, I mean, our videos get 75 to 100,000 views within a month on average. And a lot of brands in this space now see me coming in and seeing this connection I have with the audience and the numbers, and they want to sponsor these videos. And I'm charging anywhere between $5,000 and $6,000 per video now. And it just blows my mind. and I tell this to other people and they're like, I hate you. First of all, is often what I get. But also like, congrats. But I understand that because it's just like people, especially other Pokemon YouTubers who've been doing this for a while. I've actually gotten a little bit of hate from them because I've come on board and they're like, who's this guy, Pat Flynn? He like didn't even know about Pokemon a while back. He didn't, he's not a PokeTuber like we are, and we understand the history and he doesn't. First of all, I don't pretend to be an expert.
Did you just say PokeTuber?
PokeTuber, yeah, that's what we call ourselves, like Pokemon YouTuber, PokeTuber. The accent on the E is really important, or else it would be PokeTuber, and we don't want to just poke people. We're Pokemon YouTubers. Anyway, but here's what I tell them. I say, yes, it looks like this became an overnight success, but I've been on YouTube since 2009. I just so happened to create this channel in year 11, right? Or year 12. And all that failure, all that knowledge that I picked up from my other channel and in the investments into courses, investments into relationships in the Pokemon space, just to learn from the best, I've now applied in the space where nobody was doing any of those things. And it's working. It's working really well. And I actually got invited to a Pokemon event and to actually come on stage. I'm now doing like stage things in the Pokemon space. And it's just like, wow, everything I talked about in my book, Superfans, I'm implementing. It was all based on stuff that I did on the Pat Flynn stuff. But now it's just, now that I know what I'm doing, it's sped up. And I think, and I'm hoping that this provides inspiration to a lot of people, because community and building fans is really where business should be going. And I started from scratch in a brand new space last year, and we're already here. And it just takes a little bit of time and focus, but also an understanding of, well, what is community really, and how can you show up for them?
So I want to break this down because so many people listening are like, all right, how do I do something like this if I don't have the kind of background that you do in building, your brand over the years? And you have, what are you at now on the Pat Flynn YouTube channel? Like
344K subscribers over 12, 13 years.
So that's a perfect example. Number one, like literally like a month ago, not even a month ago, you were at like 333,000.
Yeah, that's growing.
I remember meeting you for coffee a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh, I saw your subscribers and you were at 333. The point being is that the more that you're doing it, the more consistent you are, it's a snowball effect.
100%.
The growth becomes that much more quick. So you reached 344,000 subscribers over, what'd you say, 9 years?
12 years. Right?
12 years.
It took 8 years to get to 100,000 subs on that channel.
And you're at 137,000 on Deep Pocket Monster in 14 months.
Yes, it took 11 months
100,000
in 28 days to get to 100,000. So
yeah.
Again, pulling all the things that I learned from the other channel and implementing it here is really what worked. And so what did work? Number one, like you said, the most important thing is just continuously publish videos. It doesn't mean publish videos every day. In fact, publishing a video every day actually potentially can work against you, because you're not giving enough time for your latest video to show up on people's home feeds. You're already covering it up with a new video. And so I really don't agree with the daily content posting on YouTube. We're posting twice a week, and on the Pat Flynn channel, just once a week. But staying consistent is important for a few reasons. Number one, it helps you just understand how to better create videos more efficiently, because the more you do something, just the better you get at it. If you just publish one video a month, you only have 12 times a year to get better at something. But if you're publishing, 2 times a week, you have 104 times that to get better. Next, it also will give you more data, and data is what we are using to grow. The data on YouTube that you can collect from anything from the number of impressions to the click-through rates, how many people saw the video on their home feed, but then how many people clicked. That informs you, well, if it's low, you need to change your title and the thumbnail, because the title and thumbnail is literally the most important part of the thing, of being on YouTube. In many cases, even more important than the video itself. We'll talk more about that later, because that is definitely really important. It also informs what topics or what videos seem to really hit the mark for people who YouTube is showing your video to, thus giving you insight that you need to create more videos like that. It also gives you insight into retention of your videos, right? You actually see a chart after a few days on your videos of people's attention spans in those videos. They start with 100% people and 100% watching, but at the end, is it 30% of people are still left? 10%? Is it 80%? That informs, again, decisions that you make for your future videos. And again, the more that you create these videos, the better it gets. I interviewed a bunch of YouTubers for my own podcast, one of them being MKBHD, or Marques Brownlee, who's the top reviewer of tech and Apple and all things tech on YouTube. He's got like 15 million subscribers now. And when I interviewed him, he was not even at 8 yet. And he's doubled it since, and that was only a couple of years ago. Like you said, it just compounds with growth over time. But he said something very interesting, because I asked him to tell his origin story and what it was like when he first started his channel. His first 100 videos were for less than 100 subscribers. And he couldn't stop talking about how important getting through those like messy first 100 videos were. And that's where most people give up and fail, is they create maybe 5 videos and they don't take off, and they just go, well, I guess it's not for me, and they move on to the next thing. So if you are going to do YouTube, it is something that you do have to commit to, like with anything, but especially on YouTube to get to that point. It's very, very unusual to see sort of like a one-hit wonder on YouTube. It's people who have worked their way toward that success, because not only are there more videos to potentially get out there and spread and go viral, but they've just gotten better with every single video and can understand what's working and what's not.
When you say gets better with each video, what is like, I know
what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that exactly mean? I know it's going to be different for different scenarios, but kind of like, what does that mean in general?
Yeah, and again, let's go back to data. A better video on the front end would be a title and thumbnail that gets a click. You have to be somewhat clickbaity in order to get a person's attention, because when a person goes on through their phone or on a desktop, it's not just your video that's popping up, it's you versus like 15 other videos, and the thumbnail is really small. And before they watch any second of your video, it's a title and thumbnail. Now, a lot of people will push back and say, oh my gosh, clickbait, really, Pat? Like you've succumbed to the dark side of the internet already? But the truth is, in order to provide value, you have to get attention and you have to get that click. The whole job of the title and thumbnail is to get a click. Where people get it wrong is when they throw up a title and thumbnail just to get a click, but then they don't deliver. That's the problem. The bait and switch is not okay, or the click bait that leads to a waste of time is not okay. There was a channel called Veritasium who did a video on this, and he actually renamed it. He called it legit bait, where it's like legit, it's baiting people. You're being honest about that so that you can teach them the thing that is of importance, or because you need to entertain them, or whatever it is that your videos do. So on the front end, getting better means higher click-through rate. And every time I publish a video, within the first 30 minutes, I'm looking at the click-through rate of the video's thumbnail and title. If it's under average, we literally change the title and the thumbnail. And we just try to work our way to a point, because that's the thing. That's the thing that's broken if it's not performing up front. It's the title thumbnail. That's it. It's simple. But typically what we do is we build maybe 3 to 5, sometimes even up to 10 different thumbnails that we feel would do well. We pick our one that we hypothesize would do the best. We throw that up there. If it underperforms, we switch it out. We already have that available. We're not scrambling to design a new one, because we already have those. And it's that important, right? I went to Vid Summit a few years back to learn about YouTube. This was before the Pokemon channel. And I saw a presentation by Mr. Beast himself, Jimmy, who has the fastest growing YouTube channel right now. And as many people know who Mr. Beast is. And the whole presentation, we were all there to learn, how do we do things like you, Jimmy? The whole presentation was all about thumbnails. It was an 1.5-hour presentation all about thumbnails. It was nothing about storytelling, which is important. It's nothing about the hook of the video, which is definitely important. It's all thumbnails. So that hopefully gets across how important the title and thumbnail is. And it has to be quick, it has to be simple. You want to do what's called the split-second test. If you show it to somebody for a split second, does it actually invoke enough curiosity for people to click through? If not, then maybe it's not good enough yet, because that's all they're going to see is a split second's worth. Too many items on there. There's a guy named Jay who teaches thumbnails on Twitter really well. He shows a lot of examples. He says that you want to have no more than like 3 elements on there, and you have to keep it very simple. If you complicate things or you add too much, especially when you look at it at a smaller thumbnail size, it's just going to be a blur, and it's just pointless. So that's getting better on the front end, title, thumbnail, and always keeping track of the percentage of that and trying to get that as high as possible. Moving on, you want to have, as far as better videos, a better hook. So keeping people's attention longer right at the start. a big mistake that a lot of people on YouTube, especially us entrepreneurs who are trying to teach, right? Like Jimmy and all bunch of other people, it's seemingly easier for them because they're entertainment channels. Like he's going to bury himself in a coffin underneath the ground for 48 hours. And that's, I mean, you're hooked already just from the title and thumbnail, but you see the coffin and you're like, oh my gosh, he's actually doing this. You're stuck in that video now. But for us educators, I mean, maybe I can put myself in a coffin and that might capture people's attention, but I think that would be weird and it doesn't really add value to the story. But the big problem that a lot of people make on YouTube is they go, hey, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Here, you're going to get this, this, and this. And in this video today, I want to talk about this. And you're 30 seconds in already and you have not delivered on the promise of the title and thumbnail yet. You've not hooked people in. You've just talked about yourself and your channel. No, you got to earn that. That can come and should come mid-video or even after video. But the sooner you can get into the listicle, the sooner that you can get into the tutorial, the sooner that you can get into the point of the video that people are there for, the more likely they are going to stick all the way through. And here's the secret to YouTube. YouTube will absolutely support you. They will share your video with your target audience for you for free if you help them first. And by helping YouTube, you're keeping people on the platform longer. So there's two ways to do that. You get people to click on your video and you get them to watch your video longer, right? And so if you can do that, YouTube goes, yo, Rick just created this awesome video that people seem to be sticking around for. Cool. Let's send it to more people who can also now stick around on the platform because ultimately YouTube is in it for advertising dollars. And the more that you can help them get people to stay on the platform, the more they will reward you for that. So a good hook in the beginning to get people to watch through. And then very important, if it's just a talking head video the whole time, well, there's many chances for people to leave. You want to include, and this is the power of video, you want to include pattern interrupts. This is what we podcasters don't necessarily have access to. There are pattern interrupts in the audio format, like stingers with audio or changing up the story, or, you know, the art of storytelling is really important because you can have pattern interrupts that reset people and get people to stick around or stay at the edge of their seat for an audio. But on video, it's much easier. But if you're not using those things, your video feels flat. Yeah. So if you are doing a video, and I'll go through my process of how to do this because you can do this in layers, but in your videos, having text pop on the screen every once in a while, or the camera zooms in and then zooms out, or there's B-roll, which is like other video that lends itself to the story that is shown on the screen while you are talking. That's B-roll, right? Like a voiceover is happening while that video is playing. And it's not, you don't have to make it a Hollywood production, but just a little bit of movement here and there to emphasize and amplify that story or the teaching that you're doing goes a very, very long way. And then afterwards, checking the video to see, you know, the retention rate. And again, looking at afterwards, the retention chart. Did 60% of people who started the video get to the end? That's really good, actually. If it's under 50, there's work to do. 50 is about average. But if you can get more than half of the people to stick around and watch through all the way to the end, that again is another signal for YouTube to just amplify your video to other people. And the reason why you don't want to start your video with, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is this, this, and this, is because YouTube is actually not about subscribers anymore. Yes, we talk about subscribers. Yes, it's a way to gauge like the size of the channel. But most people who view YouTube videos are not watching videos of channels they are subscribed to. And if you have a YouTube channel and you go into your analytics, 99% of the time, you will find that most of your views come from people who are not subscribed. In fact, I heard through the grapevine that maybe they would want to get rid of subscriber count because that actually doesn't matter. I think people would riot if that were the case. But the point being, it's not about the subscribers. It's about the views. If you get the views going the way you want them to, the subscribers will come. But the views come from oftentimes YouTube sending out your video to other people that, based on view history, based on what they know about what you've clicked on in Google, because remember, YouTube is owned by Google. So they have an understanding of these people, of you, which is kind of scary. But this is why when you go on the homepage of YouTube, you're seeing videos that are very relevant to you because they have that algorithm. And so if you create a good video relevant to a particular audience type, they will send it out for you. And imagine a person clicks on that because it's a good title and thumbnail, and then you start the video with, welcome back to the channel. A majority of your people are already out, or they feel disconnected. You get into the meat of the content as soon as you can. You hook them to the end if you can in some way. And then you've got them. And then that's what lends itself to that exponential growth over time.
Now, there's so much I want to unpack there. One number that you just mentioned that I want to kind of go back to, I believe you said 50% staying until the end is about average.
I mean, that's good.
Is that
actually,
right? That's good.
It's average, but that's actually doing really, really good. I would say the average is likely probably lower. If you can get 50 or more, you're doing really good, actually.
So what is the because the retention rate is a stat. I mean, you've mentioned that several times. The retention rate is something that the YouTube's algorithm really looks at as far as getting people, as far as it's showing more. Is that what we're talking about here? If your retention rate is it looking at percentage? Is it looking at, number of minutes?
Both. It's looking at average view duration, so AVD, average view duration, so the length of the time that people are watching. So if you have like a 10-minute video and people are watching half of it, that's 5 minutes, right? That's the same as like a 5-minute video watched 100% of the time, right?
Sure.
That's like one factor, but it's the same amount of time. But per video, the average percentage viewed is also very important per video. And so if you can get a person to stick around closer to the end, it's, again, another signal out of many that YouTube uses to know whether or not to share this video with other people for you. And that's the beauty of this. When you nail this, I mean, it's thousands, hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of organic viewers out there coming to you. It's just an amazing landscape once you figure it out. And again, it takes time to get there. But one thing that I've noticed, another mistake, we talked about the front end and sort of like welcoming people back and all this stuff that kind of is lazy before you get to the meat of the content. That's a mistake people make on the front end. On the retention graph, a mistake people make on the back end is clearly letting people know that the video is over, yet still continuing to talk, right? And we see this all the time. It's even like giving a warning that you're almost at the end, which signals to the person psychologically watching that, okay, I got to find a new video so I can keep this going, and they might even leave already. But many times when we're doing especially a list post, and finally, to finish off this video, number 5, we've basically let people know, hey guys, the video's ending, so get ready or leave as soon as I'm done. What you want to do, and what's been working well on our end, on both the Pokemon channel and the Pat Flynn channel, is literally make it so it's like almost a surprise ending. I mean, you don't want to cut people off or leave any value out, but you want to end almost abruptly because that increases the overall viewing percentage, but also gets a person to go, oh, okay, I want more. And then your end screens pop up, or the next video shows up and they're already getting ready to click on that versus, oh, I want to leave and I'm out and I'm going to find something else or something better. So that's just another tip for the end. But yeah, retention and view duration are both very important. And there's a big debate as far as like, well, what's better, longer watch time and shorter view duration, or shorter watch time but longer view duration. Again, I don't know the exact formula, and the algorithm's changing all the time, but just create great videos that people want to watch all the way through. I mean, that's all you have to do. And then everything else kind of takes care of itself.
Well, along those lines, I'm going to ask you a question that I know people listening right now want to know. I know how you're going to answer it, but because you and I talked about this a lot, because I've wanted to know this question. How long, is there a certain length of video that YouTube likes to see? Sort of like a best practice.
Yeah, I mean, the best practice really, and this might sound like a cop-out answer, and this is probably what you're alluding to, the video should be as long as it needs to be to deliver the value it should deliver, right?
Dude, that's the worst answer ever.
It is, because it doesn't really tell you the exact number, and everybody wants an exact number. But it's the truth, right? Like if you had the best tip in the world to use a particular product or something, and you're like, okay, well, I got to make it 10 minutes in length for whatever reason, but it only takes a minute to share, that video is going to be so boring because you've stretched things out. It's not going to be valuable. And guess what? Nobody's going to share it. YouTube's not going to share it because it's just 9 minutes of fluff versus a really good short video that, yes, doesn't have as much watch time, but does the job and gets people watching to the end. I mean, you will get rewarded for that, right?
Yeah.
On the other hand, there's many longer form types of podcast or of YouTube videos, some of which are podcasts that are like over an hour long, or it's our workshop or an hour training. And even though they might only get a total view percentage of 20%, well, 20% of an hour is much longer than like a 3-minute video. And you will get some reward for that for people who seem that YouTube sees would potentially enjoy that content. And in the traffic graph, you can actually see when YouTube does this. They'll send you a whole bunch of traffic or impressions, and then it'll either pull back, and it's like, it's almost as if like YouTube's like, okay, we're going to try it with this group of people, Rick, we're going to see how it goes. No, it didn't really perform well there, so we're going to slow it down for a little bit. We'll slow it down for a little bit, and then a few days goes by and you see another spike because they're trying a different demographic or a different group or something changed, and you can egg that along a little bit by changing the title and thumbnail, or doing those kinds of things to hopefully get, you know, the new group of people who see it to have a higher click-through rate or watch longer, or what have you. That being said, if you were to hold a gun to my head and say, Pat, I need to know how many minutes a video should be, like what's optimal, I would say 8 to 12 minutes. This is based on people's attention spans, and obviously there's a lot of factors to it as far as the flavor of your video and the hook and all that stuff and what it's about. But the reason why 8 minutes is important is because 8 minutes is, for a video creator on YouTube, the point at which you can include now mid-roll advertising through AdSense in your videos. So a lot of people do get to 8 minutes so that they can add a little ad in the middle of the video, and the mid-roll ads always perform the best, it seems. And you know, I was a little worried about that. Actually, for the first 4 to 5 years of my Pat Flynn YouTube channel, I turned ads off because I was like, no, I don't want to mess with a person's experience watching my videos, and I think it's like invasive. I think it's interrupting. And then I, you know, was selling my courses and selling other things on top of that. And then I don't know if this is true or not, but when I turned ads on, my videos started to get higher views. I don't know if it's because YouTube's like, oh, you're going to get ads now. Okay, we'll send it to more people for you. There's a little like of a myth of that. I don't know if that's true, and YouTube denies it, but I mean, it makes sense, right?
Sure.
But I've heard zero complaints from ads on my YouTube channel because everybody sees ads everywhere now. And my sales have gone up, not in direct correlation to that or causation, but I have not seen a negative impact. I've only seen additional dollars come in, and that's really cool. So it's cool because it's not YouTube is not my main business. The money from that does support myself and the business, obviously, but it is a nice thing to have as well, because there's a lot of companies spending a lot of dollars on getting in front of the right audiences. And what's really interesting about the dichotomy of the two channels is, if you want to talk numbers as far as like CPMs, or not CPMs because that's cost, but RPMs, revenue per milli or per thousand viewers on the Pokemon channel, because it's more entertainment based, it's like $7 for every 1,000 people who watch a video. It's about $7 or so in ad revenue. On the business channel, it's $35. It's like 5 times more, which is just insane. But I have way more views on my Pokemon channel.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Like, I have the benefit, much like MKBHD, of in this Pokemon space, right? It's like there's new sets coming out all the time. People want to see what the cards are. There's inherent built-in mystery into a pack of cards. What's inside? We need to wait till the end of the video to see what's inside. And that's got me thinking, what can I do on my business channel that has the same kind of feel, same kind of mystery, same kind of, well, what's the outcome, right? So I'm already thinking of ideas to bring that element that's already baked into the Pokemon stuff into the Pat Flynn channel. So an example would be something like, not a mystery box, but it might be like, I purchased something that claims it does something. And from a business perspective, I might even be able to teach in the sales page or like all that. But then I have to receive it and then use it and see if it actually does what it says it's going to do. Now there's a reason to stick around to the end. Or maybe I go on TikTok and I look at some of the passive income strategies they're using there and telling people, and there's millions of views on those videos. Well, let me put them to the test. We'll watch it. We'll react to it. I'll offer some comments, and then we'll actually go and do the thing. Now you have to watch the video all the way through, because the thing is either going to work or not.
Yeah.
Versus top 5 tips for podcasting. Very specific. You have to be interested in podcasting to watch it. So it's less general, but you got to have some good video and good pacing in order to keep a person to go from 1 to 5 versus just inherent built-in mystery of what's coming at the end. So it's just really interesting to see those two things play with each other.
So let's talk about that a little bit. And I want to circle back to the thumbnail title coming up here, because
Sure.
You have sort of a counterintuitive approach to that, which I think is really, really interesting, that you and I have talked a lot about.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to topics, this is another thing that you and I have talked a lot about, because my question is, as far as creating or coming up with topics to create video around, do we want to, and especially when we're early on, we're just kind of starting out,
Yeah.
Do we want to focus on, search based? We want to search for or create content that's that we could rank for, and is it a case of creating content that we're speaking directly to our audience that we want to serve, but yet is probably not, rank quote unquote worthy? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, because a video titled "I test quote unquote real TikTok passive income strategies," like nobody's looking up TikTok passive income strategies. Nobody's looking really that up, but that's more of a video that plays on the fact that when that shows up on your homepage or up next on a video you've previously watched, hopefully it invokes curiosity and you want to click it, even though you didn't know that you wanted it. Versus a search-based sort of inquiry like best live streaming software for Mac or cheapest, best quality microphone for podcasting.
Yep.
Right. Those are two different kinds of videos, and it serves two different kinds of audiences. Now, that's not to say those audiences could overlap, but I would say that if you are starting a YouTube channel, pick one strategy to start out with, and then you can experiment with the other later. It could be search-based, specifically on what people are typing in. And yes, you can use keyword research tools to do this. There are some YouTube keyword-specific tools as well through tools like TubeBuddy or even vidIQ. Or if you don't have access to those, you can use Google Keyword Research Planner on Google AdWords and use that as well as sort of a basis. And there's many other tools actually that can help you too. But creating a video for search, you got to understand that people are typing that into YouTube and they're looking for information. So how should the video then be structured to support that? What should be on the title and the thumbnail to support that? If people are looking up best microphone under $100, then a great thumbnail should include a microphone and maybe like a dollar value, $79 or something, and with the word best on it or something. Versus TikTok passive income strategies, it might be a thumbnail of me with my head down because this just doesn't work or it's disgusting, or thumbs down or something like that, that denotes potential outcomes of this test I'm about to do. Very different, but I would choose one to start with and then go create videos in that way for maybe 3 months or so, just to kind of get a baseline, and then you can experiment from there. But you do want to have that baseline and be consistent and just kind of commit to that. But when it comes to the topics, whether it's more browser suggested based, which is like the passive income TikTok style one, or search based, like the microphone or best live streaming software for Mac, my approach for this is you want to start with not filming the video first. You want to start with the title and thumbnail first. Like nail the title and thumbnail, then go and create that video. And this is especially important if you're doing non-search based things, because I think it's a little bit easier on search if you're going to be reviewing this product. Okay, I can imagine what the thumbnail and title is going to be, and you can create that after. But in the other way, which is where most of the viewership is coming from, I mean, that's the trouble with search based. There's a limited number of people searching for this every day. With suggested and browse traffic for those other topics, there's millions of people who could potentially be interested in watching that, even though they don't know they might be interested in watching that. And that's the big difference between search and the other way. But the way that we do it now is so much better because you get better results. I used to film a video because it was just a topic I was interested in or knew a lot about. And then I would force a title and thumbnail on top of it. And it was always very hard. And unfortunately, even though it's a great video, if the title and thumbnail isn't great, then nobody's going to see it. So now I'm starting with the most important thing, title and thumbnail. I'll often create 3 to 5, sometimes even up to 10 different types of thumbnails and title combos. I just brainstorm with, Post-it notes, and I draw sketches and all this kind of stuff. I think it's Mr. Beast. He does like up to 40 or 50 thumbnails per video because it's that important, right? So I'm not saying you have to do that many, but creating different versions so you can go, okay, what can people see here? What does this convey? You might even share it with a few people. There's even some tools. I think it's called Thumbs Up TV or something. I can't remember the name of the tool, but you can take the thumbnail that you design. You can design it on your own using Canva. There's even templates there, or you can hire somebody. There's even agencies that can do this for you. You can pull inspiration from other videos that you might see out there that have a good title and thumbnail combination. You can bring that element into your own thing if you'd like. But there's a tool out there, Thumbs Up TV or whatever it is, where you can actually upload your thumbnail even before the video is ready. to see what it looks like compared or like inside the dashboard of YouTube and on a mobile device. So you can just see,
That's cool.
Does this look good? Does it read? Is the title truncated or whatnot? That way you nail that part first and then you create that video. And oftentimes what happens is with this thumbnail first approach is we tweak the thumbnail to a point where it's finally interesting. And it's actually a different video than I originally thought I was going to create, right? Like the thumbnail and title guide the video because that would be an interesting video versus the other way around, which is like, okay, well, now I have to force this title and thumbnail. And it's just like, well, I guess it's as interesting as it can be. Why not film a video that is already backed by a really interesting title and thumbnail and then go from there, right? My next video that I'm doing on the Pokemon channel is related to a scam that involves Walmart and millions of dollars. Right. So the thumbnails are going to be really interesting because I can have the Walmart logo, but I can have like a big word that says scam on it. And even just if I just had those two things, it would be interesting because people would want to know what's the scam in this thing that's going on at Walmart. People are buying fake cards on Walmart, by the way, and then are unable to get refunds, which is happening. So I'm trying to provide some education and value there. I could simply just title it, Don't Buy Cards from Walmart, but I want to play into that story. I want to have people be very curious and I want to hook people in and rope them into, getting really passionate about this as I am. So title thumbnail first, start with that and then film that video.
I'm trying to think about my next question on that because you and I have talked about that for months now. I still have a hard time, to be honest, like wrapping my head around why can't, if we have an idea for a video and we think it's good and we record the video and then come up with different ideas that we think are good in terms of a title and thumbnail.
Mm-hmm. It's not to say that can't work.
Right.
But you're not doing yourself a favor by potentially having it not work.
Sure.
If you start with the title and thumbnail, I mean, you could start with the topic as well. Like what might be another, like, let's do this right now. Let's just workshop it together. What's an upcoming video idea topic sort of general that you're thinking about creating?
Yeah. And this is one that you and I talked about a week and a half ago about creating an evergreen funnel or something like that.
Right.
Like super boring, but how to create a high converting evergreen webinar funnel.
Right. So you could film that video and just share how you create your video funnel and then go and try to finagle some sort of title thumbnail combination. Mm-hmm. But here's what happens when you think of the title and thumbnail first, it also informs, even though it's about the same topic, it informs how you start that video, it informs the notes throughout it and how you end it. So let's say that the video, now that we know it's about evergreen, it's an evergreen sales funnel, right? Mm-hmm. We could go, okay, we could title it, the best evergreen sales funnel. Okay, well, sure, maybe. What else? Like, just come up with a whole bunch of other ideas, right? And you could go as far as this evergreen funnel converts ridiculously well, or the conversion on this evergreen funnel is ridiculous. And then the thumbnail is you with like a board behind you, kind of pointing to an arrow of like some sort of sequence of things that are happening that I want to know about now because you're teaching me this stuff. And a person who sees that is now going to be curious about this ridiculous thing that you have going on. So that's an idea, and I would sketch that up and see what that looks like. Maybe even take like a generic picture on my iPhone of what that might look like. And how it might look with my hand behind, or here I might look up other videos that look very similar on YouTube or in other channels and see if I can maybe structure my thumbnails in the same way. Or let's try another one. Maybe you have used this funnel before and it has like a 40+% percentage conversion rate. Well, what happens if we put numbers in there? So maybe the thumbnail includes 43% conversions on there.
I gotcha.
And that supports the title that says, the simplest, most profitable evergreen funnel you could have in your business, or the only funnel you'll ever need.
Boom.
To sell your courses or to, whatever. Again, brainstorming, put them together, see what they're like with the different title thumbnail combos. You can move things around and it's like, yo, that's sick. Right.
So the light bulb just literally went off for me, as we're talking, as we're on video right now, recording this, like just like you giving that example makes sense for me now.
And do you see how that informs like now
Totally.
how you're going to film this?
Yeah.
Because now if you're like, this is the best funnel or the only funnel you'll ever need, you can show it in comparison to other funnels, for example, or you can show how it could be used for all things that a person promotes.
Mm-hmm.
Or now it informs you actually showing that number up front, right?
Yeah.
You start the video with, hey, I want to show you this funnel. Actually, here's my computer right here. Look at this. This has a 45% conversion rate. We had 4,000 people go through this. So that means from this last campaign I did, I earned this much money. That is crazy. And this is the only funnel I'm ever going to use from this point forward. And I want to show you exactly how this works so you can use it in your business too. Let me break it down.
So that's the hook.
That's the hook. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know if you remember this or not, but the title that you came up with as we were doing this exact exercise was exposing my $1 million webinar funnel.
Oh, there you go. That's even better. I remember that idea when we were sitting at lunch.
Yeah.
But now that word exposing, it's like, I mean, that just has some like juice to it, right?
Yeah.
And it has to be a little bit clickbaity, like I said earlier in the beginning. Like you have to capture people's attention. And compare that to how to create an evergreen funnel.
I would press the button on my Rodecaster with that sound, but I don't have it marked right now.
Oh, it's all good. Oh, you have that sound?
Clapping. Could be clapping hands.
Slow clap.
Slow clap, yeah. One of the things you said there, because people are always looking for inspiration, myself included, as far as thumbnails, you said, go to somebody else's or go to other channels that might have similar content to what you're creating, sort by most popular videos, and look at the thumbnails that they're using.
Not even in the same niche.
And you're not copying them. You're just using them as inspiration.
Correct. And the approach isn't like, ooh, let me create the same thumbnail and I'm just going to replace my face, which I've seen before, and that's not good either. Even though there's no like ownership of thumbnails or no trademarks or anything, it just doesn't look good, especially if you're in the same niche. But I've borrowed from a lot of other spaces, other niches, things that then work on the Pokemon channel, and sorting through most popular videos is great because you can go, why is this video so popular on this channel? It might be like a crocheting channel. I don't know, whatever it is. You learn as you go and explore these things. It's really cool. It's similar to entrepreneurship. When we're entrepreneurs, we now understand how marketing works. And so when we're being marketed to, we know what's going on. We have this like insider knowledge. The same thing happens on a more specific level of YouTube. When you see and understand this language and you are getting fed videos or you see popular videos, you can begin to understand why that's happening and then incorporate that into your own stuff too. So yeah, go into other channels, see what's popular and try to make some understanding of that and experiment. And then over time, you're going to find a groove, and it takes some time. It took us about 8 months on the Pokemon channel to get into a real groove where we were understanding who our audience was, what they enjoyed about our content specifically. Like a lot of the other Pokemon YouTubers open packs and that's all they do. And they talk about dollar value and all that stuff. And so I've actually purposefully stepped away from doing that. Although I did do that before. I started asking people, what do you like about our videos? Well, they like that there's something different. They like the sciencey ones that actually teach, but in an entertaining way. They like when I'm able to, inspire and motivate. So I'm telling more story and I'm doing that kind of stuff, which nobody else was doing. And it was only through creating and being consistent first and building a little bit of an audience. And then B, going into that audience who, for whatever reason, was attracted to the videos and asking them, why were you attracted to the videos? And then leaning into those things more.
Taking their feedback.
Exactly.
Yeah. So all this is just, so what I love about, as we start to wrap this up, is like, what I love about YouTube is, and you've been podcasting for years and years. I've been podcasting for 7.5 years now. It is, I mean, I've recorded my first, at the time recording this, hopefully by the time this comes out, I have more videos, but I recorded my first YouTube video.
Woohoo.
And you and I have joked, it literally took me like 44 tries, 44 takes to like even get through the hook. Like it was painful. However, on try like number 27, and I'm not exaggerating here, like literally took me that many times, I started to understand it. And I became hooked in a way, no pun intended, of this is something completely different. It's a completely different skill set. And everything that you've outlined here today, as a podcaster, there's similarities there, but it's very like we've been talking now 46 minutes right now. Like I was doing the hook on the YouTube video and I would look down and I was like, oh, I'm 41 seconds into it. This is way too long.
Mm-hmm.
So there's such a cool skill set that you really need to have, and also what allows you to build from getting to the point quicker, becoming a better speaker. But then there's this whole other, like we've been talking about here today, storytelling and looking at the data and, being willing to test and being willing to commit to something because this is the long game.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't know, for me, it's such a fun, like I'm calling it a project because I'm starting it because it's something I've wanted to do for years. And it is like my number one goal for 2022 with it is consistency. I have no subscriber views or anything like that goals. Like I want consistency.
Yeah.
And it's just a fun project.
It's super fun and it's very rewarding. And if you treat it as like a gamification sort of element, then it becomes fun even while creating, like you said. But there are things that I'm learning in this YouTube space that I'm pulling into my other parts of business, right? It's allowed me to make my podcast more direct and more hooky and more something that people actually are more entertained by. It definitely helps with just stage presence as well. And even in conversations, I think that there's so much that you can pull from this. And you just have to, like you said, you have to kind of commit to it and learn as you go. I mean, you try to make your first video perfect. It's not. It's going to be a tough trek. Okay, and I'm saying that directly to you, Rick.
I was just going to say, you're speaking to me. Because the perfectionist, and I think it's pretty good, this first video.
I think it's great,
but who knows? Like people might hate it. I mean, I don't know, but I'm going to put it out.
Who goes to YouTube and is like, I'm going to watch videos so I can hate these videos? I mean, they'll click off.
Dislike that video.
You can't even dislike anymore. I mean, you don't even see the counter at least. But dude, just there's so much good to be had on YouTube. I hope you all enjoyed this and hopefully are inspired by it too. And it is a commitment. It is something that you can't just kind of do on the side. But that being said, it doesn't also have to be full time. I mean, the Pokemon thing takes me, I do a day and a half to 2 days of work a week on it. I'm also going live too, which is another element that we didn't even get to. But I can host a live stream opening packs and giving them away and having a little fun. And yesterday I did one with 1,300 people watching simultaneously.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's just bonkers. And it's just so cool because like families are watching with their kids and they're like playing along, and it's just really cool. There's huge things to be had on YouTube, and although TikTok's coming into play and TikTok has sort of outpaced YouTube as far as like total minutes and watch. I mean, it's a different platform, and I think sure. YouTube is great, especially for us podcasters who understand long form content, but can hopefully add the visual elements on top of it to make it even better.
And it's the long game. You're putting in the work now because number 2 search engine in the world.
Yep.
People are searching on this stuff. It's meant to live on. Dude, Deep Pocket Monster is the name of the YouTube channel. If even like, so I go to Pat's videos just to watch kind of like how he's doing exactly what we've just talked about. I am not a Pokemon person. I know Pikachu. That's it.
That's good.
Right? That's Pokemon, right?
That's one of the 890 some odd Pokemon that are out there. Yes.
Thanks for clarifying that. Yeah, I know nothing about it, but I go because I'm like, wow, how are you doing that? Or I look at how you get the hook or how you cut every number of, few seconds and stuff like that. How do you keep people engaged? So regardless of whether you're into Pokemon or not, go check out Pat's channel, Deep Pocket Monster. Also check out Pat Flynn on YouTube, Smart Passive Income podcast. Where else do you want people to connect with you, Pat?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Pat Flynn on YouTube, and of course, Deep Pocket Monster. Deep Pocket Monster because, I am investing a lot of money into this space, but also deep because we go deep into the hobby, right? And Pocket Monster is actually what Pokemon is short for. So Deep Pocket Monster.
We learned something.
Thank you for having me, Rick. Appreciate it. It's super fun.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate it, brother. Hey, if you're an online course creator or you're an online coach and you're feeling overwhelmed or stuck in your online business, if you are unsure of what next steps to be taking in order to grow and scale your business and create more profit and impact without all the hustle, then I want to invite you to apply for my Accelerator coaching program. This might be exactly what you're looking for to help you get unstuck in optimizing your business towards 7 figures and beyond. Okay, so Accelerator is for established online course creators and coaches who are already averaging at least 8K per month in your online business, but you're spinning your wheels, you're overwhelmed, you're not really sure what next steps to be taking in order to grow your business without working longer and working harder. This is application only. This is rolling, ongoing open enrollment. So I would invite you to learn more and apply over at rickmulready.com/accelerator. Thank you, as always, my friends, for listening to today's episode and always coming back. Make sure to leave a rating and review over on Apple Podcasts. I always read the reviews. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the podcast. Thank you in advance for doing that. And until next time, my friend, be well, and I'll talk to you soon.